Sending data. Right. Connected to Twitch, connected to YouTube. Hopefully that works. Just going to check. I always like to check on my phone that the stream is working and not dreadful. Let's see what happens. Is the stream working? Yep, I think so. Looks like it's working. Let's post that and post here. Sunday, week 2. Week 2, season 2, server 0002, live stream is up. Feel free to what or ask any questions. Sorry guys, I'm typing as I'm speaking, but I'm just feel free to come watch or ask any questions. Won't be quite as long today. Maybe a couple of hours, I think. Okay. Post that up. And there we go. Advertising done. Bits and pieces done. Everything is up. Right. I'm also attempting very quickly to do what? Oh, to look at the unit analysis today. I think is today's main topic. Yesterday, I know a couple of people were asking about different units and comparisons. So I figured today I'd look at that. Hello, Erendir? I'm going to, I forgot to load my overlay, my chat overlay. So luckily I noticed that on the stream. What is my overlay called? Restream chat, there we go. Let me power that up and then I can see properly. There we go. Right, I should be able to see. I'm going to look at unit analysis today. Hello, Paulos. I'm not too bad, just a bit tired. I'm a bit late today. I completely forgot that it was the Manchester United game. And that kind of distracted me a little bit. And I don't have an exact way of... until the MAG Discord server, maybe people start getting on there. I don't really have a way to immediately tell people, oh, sugar, I completely forgot about something. So, unfortunately... I got distracted with that, and United kind of scored 15 minutes to go, so it has delayed me getting onto the stream. I don't think it will be quite as long a run today, but like I said, I want to look closer at all the unit stats. Flops in chat. Hello, gosh. Hope you are doing well today. Like I said, apologies for the 1 hour delay. Do you feel tribute is overrated? I am in 3rd day and I have them at 12 because I need resources. How come you are on 10? I don't particularly think that they are that good when you hit to a certain level, because if you do the maths analysis, so say, I mean, I could probably level them up a little bit, but even then, like, so if I work this out, I'll need to upgrade this. So I need 15,000, 15,000. So I need 30,000. I mean, they're good to get early on. I probably should have. I've just prioritized getting a lot of my building stuff, and I could kind of manage my resources better elsewhere anyway. So, and you get what, like 300 increase per hour? Oh no, 500. Was that gone up? I thought it used to be 300. I don't know. So what's that? 10 hours. Oh, that's not too bad actually at this lower level. 10 hours to get 5,000. So 60 hours. So they start making profit after, what's that? 2 days, 2.5 days ish. So yeah, actually probably I start to get to certain levels when you get to like 15 or 16, and the maths is kind of like you need to wait like 3 weeks or something for them to make profit, these resource income buildings around here. So there is a limit. I probably should have increased those a little bit more. They kind of fell by the wayside because I was just desperately pushing for my tier 3 units, which I've now unlocked. So I now have Guardians, which was a priority, because I felt like I was just losing a little bit too much of the shield bearers. And I also needed to unlock Cataphracts, which I've still not done. Wait, why have I still not done that? Oh, because I need the quarters 9. Yeah, so this has kind of been my priority with my resources at the moment, unlocking the Cataphracts just to finish off my unit, my army build. So I'm waiting 6 hours, and then I'll do Horseman Stable. You are right, I probably should go back and power up my resources a little bit. I think they're okay until 12 or 14, and then after that, like I said, if you add up the cost that they are to increase. I was sure there used to be 300 every level. Was I wrong last season? That's gone up to 500. Do they keep going up? 500? Or do they cap at that? I can't remember. And I don't know if there's been a change from last season to this season. I remember them being 300, and that's standing out in my mind. Maybe they did go up to 500, and I can't remember. They're not the most important thing to be checking on your resources. And then at 15 or 16, they just got to crazy resources. And by the time that you could, I think at the end I did get them to 20, just for completionist's sake, if I didn't want to open it up and they weren't at 20. So I would frequently log on and go, okay, well, whatever, I'll take the 50,000 of each resource loss, even though I know that with 2 weeks left in the game, at 500, they're never going to remake the loss. I'm at 12. The increase 13 would be 500. Okay, so yeah, maybe I'm remembering wrong. Maybe it was always 500, 300 at low. But I mean, even then, like I said, what's your increase to 13 for your building costs? Probably still not too bad. It's probably still doable at 13. Maybe I'm talking more about 17, 18. But it gets to a stage where it's just not worth it to upgrade those. Apart from just having extra at the end and just being like, I don't really care too much. And I suppose extra income isn't too bad if you've got extra, because you'll need to get it back up faster at certain times. And the main hall resource is going to be a while yet. I am working on some of these things. I do need to get the Heroic Room quarters up, because I would like to get my Martial stable. Level 10 though. There are some people already out and about on our server flexing their special units, so I mean, fair enough. 40,000. So that's still not too bad at that level if it's costing you 40,000 resources. 500 income, it's 80 hours, so that's not too bad. That's not too bad. What, like 4 days or so? Yeah, 3-4 days. For me, it was just I couldn't necessarily do that at the same time as building up my buildings, because that would take the resources that I kind of needed for those. But I'm kind of in a good position now with my resources, even though my income is hideously lopsided, as you can see at the top with wood. I'm not too bad at using my markets, and I think my barters were pretty bad. Sorry, my merchants were bad today. But I still managed to tinker around my resources. Always make sure that you check on these. I know there's loads of guides out there. Everybody probably knows that in some ways early on game, it's really worthwhile hitting these 150 gems to reset this 3 times and pick up anything that's super cheap, especially gold. Gold for resources is like almost an immediate build buy, and any 50% resource change is an immediate buy, because even if it's a resource that you desperately need to a resource that you pretty much have, you can use your barter system, and as long as you've got your at maximum 10 to 8, you're still making resources, just converting it and then bartering it back again, because you're getting double the resources and then you're bartering it back and getting 80%. It's still a gain. And then I tinker around with stuff that I kind of would like. So my resources have kind of hit the stage where I'm not too bad now. I can deal with it, and my barracks, I can be producing troops at the same time. There's my guardians up and ready to go in my armies. I've got plenty now of cavaliers, bow knights, and I've started on my cataphracts. I do have cataphracts. Why am I upgrading that building? I don't need it upgraded. 10-8 is good, 10-4 is not. Definitely early on in the game, for those first week or so, I think it took first 8 days before I managed to get my market up. That was a priority for me, just because I needed to make sure you can't have a push on your unit buildings if you don't have the resources for it. So you've got to juggle those together. But it was okay. I managed to get it sorted, and I managed to look at finally get these 3 for my cavalry armies out, just needing the cataphracts in larger numbers. And I also finally have guardians, which is a bit of a bad thing, because I have a lot of shield bearers that I'm going to have to burn out first, I think. Wave them into tiles first, and plenty of the other tier 4 units that I've had for a few days now. I don't have anything to hire, because there's only Ents, and we're not at that level for the Ent tiles quite yet, but we will see. I'm also able, I think, probably to switch these now. Yeah, because I don't have many Outriders, so I can safely switch those Outriders for the same amount of cataphracts anyway. And you can start to see that it's looking kind of like a real cav match, and I'm overloaded on cavaliers. Obviously, the cavaliers being the DPS melee build, you don't really want to have a ridiculous amount of those. I do already have a ridiculous amount of those in stock, so that's unfortunate. But when she levels up, it will be mainly 50-50 DPS to ranged, so maybe slightly more, maybe 60% melee, 40% ranged, because 30% of my melee are also DPS, so it'll still leave me with a reasonable amount of tanks, some extra screen cover, and then at the back. Let's have a look. Kosh, yeah, it is tough. Everybody's still claiming the same tiles, so hopefully things will settle down, everybody will ease up. Hello mate, been watching your streams lately. Quick question. My server season has just ended. What is the transition period from season 1 to season 2? How has it just ended? It depends, because there's different stages of the ending process. You hit server progression when you finish the ring. You then still need to do the server progression 11 or whatever it is to capture the cities and things. And then after that, there's usually like a 2-week period where you're waiting, twiddling your thumbs for any information. Well, we were the lower servers. Then there's they release a recruitment message type thing that you click, and you have to choose whether you want to be on the mixed server or the roleplay server. And then that's up usually for 2 weeks, where you registrate for which server you want to play on. That's 2 weeks. And then you have a 2-day period from after the registration period closes, whilst they formalize, because I think they close them down in batches of 20, or I've heard in the higher servers now they're even larger amounts of servers that they're merging together. So they wait until they've got all of them ready, and then they shut down them all at the same time, and then they merge all of those people into the same server. So there's like a 2-day period where they calculate exactly who's going to be in which groups. Then there is a 2-hour game downtime where they take it all down and they do all the magic fairy stuff in the background. Then the game comes back up and you have been allocated a specific server that you can sign up on. And you'll meet everybody else that's new, all of the new people. That's kind of how it goes. So I don't know which stage you're in the ending process, because we kept on thinking, oh, we're in the end process now. We're going for the final capitals. Oh, we're in the end process now. We've captured everything, and we're waiting. We've got the capitals, and then we were in the end phase when we were everybody signing up their registration forms and still waiting for the season to end, and then the end phase of the 2 days waiting for. So yeah. Where can you see how many servers merged? I don't think they can. I'm not sure they've released that information. We kind of just found out on the Discord. People were asking on the servers who's from which servers in this group, and they were saying, and then people were just creating logs and lists of which servers had been united together. But I've heard that the higher servers already from people who have been merged and got into those groups where they've been saying there's more being merged here. Right. So my resource is kind of okay. My food is a little bit of a problem. He's mock battling on there. I have been trying to push him up a little bit whilst having Legolas to do tips, and I'm always tempted. I'm always tempted to get Protect Elves with him, but I didn't quite have the points last season. I think I had just enough points to finish his 2 tables, and I was kind of hoping that, again, I said early this season that the other second box would have been maybe either the Arwen Legolas box, or would have been the Theoden Eomer box, and I would have bought stuff for those, and I would have been interested in grabbing them, but it wasn't meant to be, and it was that rubbish equipment box, which I'm not bothering about. So I'm stuck in this position that last season I needed 3 more points so that I could have got 2 points in Dwarf Friend, 1 point for Protect Elves, because you only really need 1 point in Protect Elves, and it still will mean the Dwarven unit with the highest defense protects all Elven units and defense plus 4.2, which is kind of handy for sustainability and for making sure that you stand your ground a little bit better in a 1-to-1 fight with your Legolas DPS build. You can soak all of that damage onto your Guardians and make sure that your units in the back are still doing reasonable DPS. So I will see if I can get the 3 points extra this season to pick that up. Otherwise, I just tend to go for all deeps. And Greenleaf is my priority focus. Yes, I keep working on this for now. What gear you have on Legolas and what troops you plan on using him? I'm Erebor and don't find the perfect troop build. You should, I mean, it depends on what level you have and what build you're going for, because he kind of has 2, he does have, not that I would recommend it, like the unit buff tables of picking Dwarf Friend and Grey Elf. I don't particularly really like them, and I don't think it's a bit of a waste just to take all this stuff that boosts the range units. I think that that's later on when you've got extra points, if you start to level him at respect 15, 20, 25 or something stupid. But if you're going to go pure DPS, you're going for these 2 tables, Greenleaf, and you're going Elven Prince, well then, again, like I said, for me, what level do I have him on? I have him on respect 5. I have him on respect 5, and I think last season I could finish Greenleaf and I could finish Elven Prince and the 2 tail DPS tables from that. I think that was it. I think I just had enough for that. I'm short 3 because you don't need it, and I did okay. I did relatively successfully catered my way through the season, but if I had 3 extra points, I would have picked 2 on Dwarf Friend, the 1 on Protect Elves. I would have been able to do a little bit more damage consistently because there were a lot of armies that were able to wipe my more softer March Wardens at the back. I would have been better with that, but Sylvie, I mean, beggars can't be choosers. You've got to work with what you've got. But my equipment for him it's okay. Like I said, he's going to be my 4th character this season, 3rd to 4th character this season. So He's I give him some okay-ish gear, but some of my better gear has gone on some of my other guys, and I've not upgraded it more than what I had it at last season. So I've gone with might, and I've gone with ignore target's defense. If I wish I had more battle axes. Unfortunately, I've got another battle axe on Gimli. He will be my next character, and I'm worried I don't really want to take too much off him just to break it down to make this one very, very... I mean, I'd probably want to upgrade it one more level, I think, if I broke it down. So I'm not entirely sure that I would be able to push it that much more. And it kind of does okay. I just need to upgrade this flare. I've been hoping that I would randomly drop a couple of more battle axes to boost the special ability up here to get it up. But it only goes up 5% more per level. So 5, 10, if I manage to get 2 more battle axes, I get up to 20% ignore defense for the first 4 rounds, which I think for most of his attacks is like each one of his attacks once, plus obviously his normal commander attack each turn, maybe attacking twice. So I kind of like it, but I don't think it's the best skill on that weapon. I've got extra might, scale mail, damage received. I've been really unlucky with my full helms. I don't think I've got any really particularly amazing secondary abilities on my full helms to write home about and upgrade them particularly over anything else. And I've got a Hith lane because it's the only piece of gear that I've got that has a bit of extra might, even though again it has a terrible ability. I just went for it just for a little bit more extra might on him. Disappointing, but I kind of screwed myself a little bit this season because I had an exchange opportunity, and it was the Erebor neck piece accessory that was up available yesterday, and I couldn't get it because I'd spent all of my gear tokens. So there is a Reach of the Riddermark there, which also I would like. If there was an easier way of getting these other than having to like 100 Matham buy a chest box and trading everything just to pick one piece of item, it would have been nice, but there isn't. There is a battle axe in here though. For 300. Again, this is where I get tempted. I see this and I'm like, I can get 300 much easier. Do I want to pick up a battle axe to increase... Oh, wrong button. Do I want to get a battle axe to increase Legolas's battle axe with flay up to 15%? I'm not sure. I always thought, oh no, that's probably... I always thought whenever I look on these, I'm not sure if you agree with me. You can look at some of your own gears. But every time I open up the ability tree on here, I always feel like the top one is like the best one. I don't know why. Everything I've looked at, the top one has always stood out to me as been like, that's the one I want. And then I get down, and then at the bottom, I'm kind of like, maybe not. I wouldn't really like that. Like 2% chance of pulling 2 attacks each round. You have to use axe throwers, and the maximum it's going to go up to is 10%. So in each battle, it's going to kick in 1 time. If you're lucky. 10% is such a low chance that it quite easily could be 0 per battle. And then allied melee units, then after commander attacks against target, inflict damage. -6%, so reduce damage, and at the top, ignoring defense. And again, we've talked about defense. Increases in defense are not that great. Once you get past those threshold marks of 40 and past the threshold marks, upper marks of 80 defense, increasing defense is not particularly too good. But reduction of defense, as long as they're on that level which you can reduce it down below either 80 or below 40, becomes far more useful. So actually being able to ignore target's defense is pretty solid if it's a significant amount, because you can breach it right down to crazy levels. If you've seen damage against something like what's the unit? Sentinels? Is it Sentinels? I'm trying to remember. Let me have a quick peek. I think it's I'll have a look later. We're going to look at units anyway. But there's one that's like 12 defense. And if you ever see them in combat when they're taking damage, ouch, it hurts like crazy. It really does. So, I think that's probably the best of the four. It's not particularly a great list for the battle axe weapon, actually. So do I want to pick up 300 points, get another battle axe, and increase that by 5%? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We'll see. Yeah, I've not particularly done too well with a lot of this stuff. I think I picked up another Wizard's Firework yesterday with a pursuit chance, but I'm going to save it because at some stage I'll probably upgrade Eowyn's, and then I'll upgrade it again, just her pursuit, to get it up to 60%, and then it's doable against Oath Breakers and stuff like that. I have Durin's Plate today. Also, let's say hello to people. Heathen Latvian, hello. Paul Game Cania, hello. Welcome to the stream. What server are you playing? Yep, Tikash already answered. Season 2, 0002 roleplay. Season 2, 0027. What, out of interest, Heathen Latvian, you came, I presume, from a much higher server, so now you are on 0027. What number were you in Season 1, out of interest? To see, we can kind of get a rough idea of how many servers we've gone down from. 137 into 37. Actually, that's not too bad. That's not too bad, 137 to 27. And Paul Game Kinnico said, I'm from 274 ending Season 1. So again, it'd be interesting to know what server you go into after you've merged. Flay, I think, is by far the best on the battle axe. I do agree. I wonder if I can get the 300 for that. I'll be gutting myself in a couple of days' time when something comes up again that I want, and I go, "What have you done? Why have you traded everything away for that?" Let's see if I can get up to it. 300. That's easy to do. It would be much easier if they'd given me a decent box to buy, or an equipment box that made it worthwhile to buy, instead of the piece of crap they gave us. I should be able to get it with most of these. I need 100 more. Let's get rid of, I've got loads of these. Okay, that'll do. Lots of stuff from the last season. I definitely won't be using as many commands as I used last season, at least not geared up. I don't really need it. So let's grab that item from the Mathan exchange. I've gotten rid of the things, grabbed the tokens for exchange. Like I said, you can see I was already on, what's the scale? Oh, it doesn't tell you. I was fully prepared. I was going to 100 to open a chest and maybe stream it and all sorts of stuff. But oh dear. Apologies for that. That has never happened before in my BlueStacks time. Something overloaded and it took me out of the game. Wow. There we go. It's new. Everybody's there to watch it. Let's what somebody was asking before about, and I got distracted about the unit composition for Legolas. I personally, towards the end of last season, I was in LotR and I went with March Wardens for my DPS, and then my front row was just 2 tanky units just to hold and sustain, so that I was surviving for as long as possible. This season, if I can get Dwarf Friend up and running, then I will pick up the 1 point so that my dwarves take all the damage, and then I will go with just Guardians and then maybe 2 DPS units in the back, but with like half of my army as Guardians and then half with my DPS in the back row, probably. I'm going to refine this. And I ignore 15% of my target's defense. So we're getting somewhere decent. So we play Linden. We've got the ring already and more than 3 capsules. Okay, cool. Yeah, you should be into the final countdown. And again, let me know what you're merged into. Takosh my Angmar 39 to 50. Yeah, I knew for the lower ones that were ours, it was 20. They always did 20 into 3. So it was going up in 3s and they were merging 20 serves in. Somebody did tell me that on higher levels the merge values weren't high because the servers weren't quite as busy, but I'm not entirely sure. It would be curious to see somebody from a much higher number now and see, from like 200 or 300 would give you a clearer go, because Heathen Latvian said, what was that, 137 into 27. Would that work with our maths? If 20 are going into 3, then by 137, that is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 7th lot. So 7 times 3, 3 times 7, 27. So that fits perfectly with that. I would be curious to see if somebody now in 200 or 300 is on the same exchange rate. We play Linden. I read that. Erebor. What happens to the end of season points that you don't spend? I'm not sure. Everybody on our server spent them because I don't know if there was an inference in how it was messaged. Maybe gave you the idea that the season points would not carry over, and I think that's one thing that they don't really give you much information on. Do they give you information on whether season rewards transfer over? I can't remember seeing it on here. Commander levels reset, equipment reset, instruments, maps, lands, resources gone, rings gone. They do put gems in somewhere though, don't they? Gems transfer. Gems will be retained. Items will be retained. Items with the season icon in the corner will be lost. Interesting. What I didn't check was maybe when you get the points, do they show? I never really checked. Do they show in your items when you get them, the season reward points? I'm not sure. I should have checked to see, because if they might have had an indicator on them whether they were just a season reward. Doesn't say on the sheets, and everybody on our server was too afraid about leaving it. I probably should have just saved 100 just to see, instead of not bought the gems or something out of curiosity, see if they disappear. But you might have had to wait all the way until the end of the next season to be able to see whether those season points reappear or not. So who knows. How long does it take after completing all season challenges? It's been 3 days. We've not seen the choose roleplay button. From our stage of finishing the last season challenge, it was 2 weeks before we got the 2-week registration period. So it was a month afterwards. Again, I've said before, when people have asked this question, that might change now in these newer servers, the younger servers, because you've got more... You've already got stuff planned. They already know the layout, so it might not be that long from now on. You might see them speed it up. They might not. They might not. I mean, how many weeks have you been playing so far? For us, when we got to that stage, we'd already been playing for 4 weeks. So, and somebody said there was a minimum report there that said it was going to be 8 weeks minimum. So that's why it chugged along to that time period. Most on the server are going roleplay. I think everybody's going roleplay. Like, seriously, I've hardly seen any people talk about going to the mixed. Why would someone go normal? Mixing stuff takes all the fun. I think some people wanted to go normal. If I was going to switch from good to evil, I would probably go normal, because I would have lost all of the ability to use all this stuff. So maybe in 2 or 3 seasons, well, I don't know how they're going to try and force us to come back together, maybe. But if this maintains with that server split, maybe in 2 or 3 seasons, if I want to try and start looking at collecting evil commanders or giving the other side a bit of a try, then maybe I would. That is the only reason I can see. Or if you're in a fellowship where one person wants to do that, wants to switch faction and manages to persuade everybody to the fellowship, then I could possibly see it happening. What have I got here to use? I do have 27 of these to open at some stage. So that's what, 2,700. I have 2,700. So maybe I do that for Legolas at some stage. 2,000. It's going to end up with 3,600. So it will be enough to... I would nearly be respect 7 for him. I need to get him to respect 8. So I suppose I just keep saving things. Like I said, I always save them and decide, because I never know if something is going to change. Especially those boxes would be really useful to me for me to be able to save those. Are they? Let me see. Okay, so they are not locked to the server season. So they potentially would be something that, unless you desperately need to spend them and really want a character, if you can be patient and save until next season, and they roll over to next season, you could be in a pretty good position if new characters come out. You know, and they do the same next season. If they do the same next season, you'd potentially be able to get like 7,200 XP. So far, I use only Gandalf, Arwen, and Dwalin, as they're good for tile taking and good against Balrogs. True. Very, very defensive with the Gandalf and Arwen builds. I've also gone with Gandalf. My Arwen's a little bit weak. Again, if I'd got the box with Legolas and Arwen, I would have potentially done better and been able to see if I grabbed it, because I've not got her unlock card, which would be nice. I do have her. I got her nearly at level 3 maybe, but I've not got a card which would boost her way up. My fellowship are all going Rohan on season 2. Is that clever? We think it's the best position and good stats. Possibly. We've been having fun on this server. There are a lot of people. Rohan seems to have got a lot more love this season, so there's a lot more people. Ours was the first faction to fill up. You've got to be careful that you are all online. If you're going to go with a popular group, oh man, I'm not battling with 2 minutes 30. Be careful that you are all available early on. I think our server locked Rohan after one day, and we had a lot of people go in, So I think as long as you've got everybody manages to log on within the first 24 hours of the game coming back up, you're okay. You should be able to get everybody into the same one. But you can't afford people to be like, okay, yeah, I'll be logging on 2 days after the sign-ups or 3 days after the sign-ups. You might struggle there. I'm just waiting for the mock battling to finish. Just so you're aware, there is combat going on here, but I kind of promised some of the other groups that I would not focus on live battles whilst I was streaming, for fear of giving away any sort of tactical information or situations or anything. So that is why you might see red markers come up here. You might see people talking about war in here. It is going on, but it is live right now. And yeah, I said I wouldn't, because then people can see where troop numbers are coming to, how many armies are on, you know, in background situations. So, but I will review it tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Whenever I review. I might actually start recording more videos like I did with Season 1. Season 1, for those of you who'd never watched any of my Battlelog series, like Angmar or The Quest for the Ring, I kind of just recorded footage during the week, or even for the Quest for the Ring, I think it was over like 2 or 3 weeks. And then at the end, I like tinkered around and made it into a story and posted it as a sort of like a 6-part or 3 or 4-part for Angmar. I'll probably do that the same again, just so I don't give away any trade secrets, any current information, any battle organization tactics. You can see what units I have, but not what units other people have, apart from Endurance, who we talked about yesterday, and I'm sure she won't mind that. Let's have a look. What server are you on? 274. Ending Season 1. It's been 3 to 4 days since we finished all progress tests, but no buttons to drop it yet. Do you agree that OBs are OP? I think they are against certain factions. They are definitely a useful tool to have of a special unit, and with certain builds they are really good, because I mean they're pretty bad against anything evil because they take the damage from the fire. So really, you're looking at, if Gondor get them, you're saying they're good if you're going to fight Rohan. Or if Isengard are weak and you're going to be able to destroy Isengard, then they're good if you're going to move up towards Lindon or Ardor. They're pretty much the 3 factions that they're useful against. I suppose Erebor as well, if you've got a strong Erebor. But they're pretty pointless against Lothlorien and the Gondor last season, because it was mainly just us versus Gondor most of the season. Then they just didn't use OBs, because they said there was no point. Every Lothlorien army pretty much had March Wardens, so they just didn't bother. But this season, Gondor are attacking Rohan a lot. There seems to be a war. The usual friendliness between Gondor and Rohan is gone. As you can see on our map, there are battlefronts opening up here and battle in different directions. Again, I'm not going to click on anything. Anybody on the server could see this. so nobody can message me and say, oh, you're giving away trade secrets. But yeah, you can see that the battle lines have started to open up fully between Gondor and Rohan, which in my opinion is a little bit silly because Gondor still kind of have 2 territories left to unlock and expand, so there wasn't really a need to start a war after 10 days of the server, and I think the only thing that's going to do is slow people down. There is also a war over here that you may be able to see. This I can show because this has nothing to do with us. So I can show you what's going on over here. Basically, Angmar, their vassal state, as they phrase it, of Arnor was attacked by Lindon. We talked about that when they took over this territory. So Angmar have decided to halt and stop their progression over here. Again, I don't know why, because they have easy territories to claim. They could get into the back of Rune. They could be expanding nicely. They have decided to reallocate their forces back over to the west and are going to help Arnor in their quest against Lindon. So they managed to pave their way through here, and we can see them about here with the Angmar forces paving through, which should be a curious situation. Over to Lindon over here, who I'm guessing are also going to be fortifying. We already see Great Wall. That takes me back to season 1, so they are aware of it. They are fortifying here, and they are expecting this to become a fight. What is going on up here? Because I thought they maybe you might have saw some sneaky attempts to take these cities over here, especially because this is which is the really good one up here. Yeah, army speed +5. This is like a really good city bonus up here. So you might see I expected to see something going on over here, because you know Lindon have got forces over here, and that bonus speed could be quite useful for a combat. So it looks like Lindon are over here. Yesterday, I think I saw Angmar had paved their way over here as well, which I showed. So Angmar sort of like here. Again, I've not kept up with this, but they are creeping towards each other up here. But I would be curious to see if that becomes a fight, or if it pretty much entirely becomes this battle for the vassal territories of Arnor. Will be interesting. Server 254 is currently on 6 days countdown. Okay, 6 days. So is that for your pre-registration form? Your 6 days countdown. So you've still got 8 days left. From your experience on Rohan in Season 2, what commander was best in the first few days? I was in Gandalf the Great and Eowyn. I respect 10. What would you suggest going heal skills first? I was disappointed. I caved in and went for Eowyn in this season, and I've been disappointed with her. And I've been disappointed with her because cavalry are expensive to make. You've got limited options as you're leveling up. I've really struggled to push her. Every time I've been taking tiles like 150s with her, I've been struggling with her. I've been losing quite a lot of troops. And until now, when I just now finally, like 9 days, 10 days into it, I've finally got her to a position where I've got all tier 3 cavalry. Now I'm going to have fun. I think I'm only maybe respect 6 or so for her. But now I'm kind of okay. I will still probably take losses more than some of the others. I don't know why I keep going here. I didn't click commander. I don't know why I'm all over the place. So yeah, I'm on respect 6 for her. I kind of went I mixed for the heals and for the extra damage, just so I could kill stuff. Maybe that's where I went wrong. Maybe I should have gone more immediately for White Lady of Rohan. Maybe, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe Riding Excellence would have been better to reduce my DPS. But again, I still had the problem where at tier 2, I didn't have 3 cavalry units. So I was having to fill in with a tier 1. And then now I unlocked tier 3, and I only could get like 1 without unlocking all the stuff from all the other trees to get all the other cavalry units. It's been a real fight because I only get 1 tier 3 cavalry unit in each table, so I've had to get every single one up to 8, and I've had to unlock all those scouts. Now I'm going to have fun. I kind of wish most of the people went with Lego Gandhi. If I had Theoden, if you've got Theoden, he's a really good option as well. I would use Theoden. But what happened is I pretty much just stopped using her as much, and I've just been powering up Gandalf. And These are my 4 that I'm planning to use. Thorin, I unlocked and wanted to test him out and have been having fun with him. And Legolas, I've also been just leveling up with tips and bits and pieces. So I would recommend being careful with the Owen for Rohan for Season 2. The units are expensive. It's hard to get a synergy mix. You do want her, definitely. But do you need her immediately, early on? She's not too bad for her speed. So she's not bad for having for tiling and stuff. But she's gonna what's the word? Eat through your troops. Mine was eating through my troops very quickly. I've heard they merge servers. What if someone has 2 accounts on servers merged? He loses 1 account. Good question. I don't know what the situation with that is. I would suspect you keep both accounts, otherwise they'll be in trouble for taking away stuff from for people. You could probably claim money back. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just getting my more damage reduction on Gandhi here. Welcome to the stream. Rivas the Libra. Sorry, I'm catching up with these messages. I will try and go through them quicker. But I believe you can play with both on the same server. And someone in the official Discord with 3 characters get measures. I think you have to be able to keep playing the characters, because if you spent $1,000 or something on it, and then they say, oh, you can't play with that character, what are they going to give you your money back? And plus money back, compensation for your time. Bill them at whatever, $20 an hour. Be interesting to do. Rohan is a bad spot, to be honest. They have to be very, very careful. Same with LotR. Diplomacy can be a killer, can make or break your season. If you've got a strong group, though, you've got chances to expand in all ways. And you also have the benefit that you're already close to the ring, and your spawn points are close to the ring. So even if everything goes wrong for you and all the other factions start killing you and destroying you, you're still just going to be respawned here, right next to the ring. So you're always in it. You've always got a chance, even if every other faction comes to destroy you, and then they start closing down for the ring, and so everybody's focus switches to the ring. You are still in a position, whereas if you've got strong fellowships and a strong faction, you can still push for that, because they can't stop you from spawning in these 5 zones. Whereas say if you're Linden and everything goes wrong for you, and you've pathed all the way over here, but then everybody kills all of your troops all over here and all of your territories, you're going to be switched all the way back here, and then that's pretty much game over, because you're going to have to tile all the way back for 1 or 2 weeks. How are you, mate? Started well with the season 2. I forgot. Yeah, you're in there in that early push without the red book. We have 9 big fellowships in Gondor, and we start to run out of tiles to take. The other factions bypass us in power production because we are so damn many. Same problem is happening with ours. Exactly the same problem. We have so many people. Whenever we take a city, our faction fellowship increases crazy amounts just because we've got all of the people inside. But we've really stagnated. Luckily, we've got a weak rune, so people have been able to expand over into the rune territories, and we're now in a line. But yeah, it's been dog eat dog. It's been super tough. I'm stuck. My power production has been stuck now for 3 or 4 days, and there's just no tiles to get. I can only really expand with 200s or 230s, and it's just not worth the losses at the moment. And even then, they're all slowly starting to get consumed around this area. So it's just tough. I was just kind of hoping more people would expand out into other territories, and I would be able to. Ironic Gondor not helping Rohan. Yeah, surprise, surprise. Where was Gondor? Hey. I think there's a lot of ego in Gondor, and there's a lot of ego in Rohan, and there's some of the strong fellowships. So I think they're more than happy to cut their nose to spite their face, sort of thing. So you can see we've got the second, third. We've got 7, 8, 10, 11. So in the top 11, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the top 11 are either Rohan or Gondor. So some ego issues going on here. Then you've also got Gondor 19, Rohan at 20, 22, 23, Gondor at 24. So yeah, there's a lot of factions, a lot of weight, a lot of strength, and a lot of peacocking. So it could be this war situation for the whole server. Doesn't particularly bode well for both of them, to be fair. Because Rohan really need to be expanding over here, and Gondor really need to be probably expanding and utilizing over here. So locking themselves up into a combat fight here is definitely questionable. But there we go. On the other side, shouldn't their goal be to slow us down? We are the strongest faction, so they want others to progress while we can't, to have a chance against us. True, but they do it at the sacrifice for their own gains as well. Anybody who goes first into a war they're going to be the ones that are going to struggle the most, because they're going to have to expend the most amount of forces for the initial attack, and then also to be ready to counter any sort of attacks coming back. They're gonna take the brunt, I would think. How can Ents be useful? Not very many ways. They're slow. You kind of have to be super careful. They take super damage against fire or certain things like that. Sorry, just fire. So you have to be very, very... Wait, I've got one right near to my tile over here, don't I? Yeah. And they're super, super slow. So they're very, very bad for anything like attacking. They're very, very bad for fights against evil. The only thing that I've seen them do fairly well against, and it was with Oathbreakers actually, people were playing with Ents and Oathbreakers holding a defensive line, and with like a Legolas or something, a huge damage output, and they just could not kill things fast enough. You had Ents with those huge defenses, and then even if they broke through the Ents, then you just had tons of OBs that were also consuming the damage of anything that was physical. And unless you came against like a good guy, Arwen or Gandhi or something with focus damage, then they could take it all day. In our server, Rohan shook hands with Mordor to go against Gondor. Yes, I think in our server maybe I think Mordor have shaken hands with Gondor to go against Rohan. So I think for Mordor that's the perfect situation. If you've got a roleplay server where Mordor are being hit by both of them, generally it's quite overwhelming and difficult for them. What you tend to find otherwise than that is one or the other having to... It's like a triangle. Two of the three are probably going to go against the other one. And so it's an interesting unit compositions for defending. Yes, thanks for your insight, and Eowyn. You think Legolas loses as many troops as he does when fighting high-level tiles in the late game? Maybe his damage bursts are enough to finish quickly on. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly your build for Legolas, is hoping that you can pound your way through the tile fast enough that you don't take as much damage back. I was doing okay with Legolas. I think how I tended to finish is that I made my Gandalf super, super tanky, super defensive, and I would send in my Gandalf first. Maybe my Gandalf would lose a tiny proportion of their troops, and they would maybe take down the tile by 15 or 20%, and that was enough so that when my Legolas rammed in, that he took barely any losses. They kind of just took down enough of the tanks maybe, or reduced their damage output, or the whatever it was just enough that my Legolas could go in and take hardly anything. Would you advise to rush getting Oathbreakers early on for Season 2 Rohan run? That was our plan. That's kind of the reason why we're at war with Gondor. They did not want to share, again, like I said, chest beating. They did not want to share Paths of the Dead. And that kind of was the reason that we have come to this stage. But yes, I would think if your Gondor were weaker, or if your Gondor are more diplomatic, more friendly, you can probably negotiate something. I think Palace of the Dead has 10 OB nodes, and it's not too far away and pretty easy to defend. So that was kind of what we were after this season. It wasn't meant to be, and they took offense to that, and they've decided to go all out. But there we go. Would you advise to rush getting... Ent Oathbreaker army, just bring fire. Yeah, true. Like I said, if you are going against evil, I don't think you'd ever take Ents against evil. That's what I'm saying. There's just no point. Ents against the evil would be a waste of time. But sorry, I'm just going to keep trying to get some more food here. But against good guys, they can be potentially useful. They're just so slow. If you're going to defend a point, guard a point, put them in a city or something, I could see them being maybe useful against specific armies. But other than that, Ents are a waste of time other than farming. Have you seen how people are abusing Ents? Yeah, I actually did a video. I did a video on how to do the Ent farming. And actually, that's why I'm here. So, I'm just... Unfortunately, like I said, I did Eowyn first. If I didn't, and I'd focused on Gandalf first, he would have been up to 42, and I would be Ent farming right now. But alas, I've probably focused on a bit too much on the other characters, so it's put me a little bit behind. But he will be... As soon as I get him up to 42, I will be hitting those. I'm stood right next to one, in fact, to start claiming. I wanted to look at units today because somebody was raising up the discussion point about infantry. So what I've done is I've grabbed all of the infantry unit stats, which I will share up on the screen here, just for comparison. And I figured I'd do this in 3 parts. So I figured we'd look at infantry, then we'd look at cavalry, and then we'll look at DPS. And I know there's some in between, because technically I could have put cataphracts and I could have put other things on here. So maybe it'll be 4 parts. Maybe it'll be 4 parts. Maybe I'll compare infantry, then 1 week I'll compare cavalry, 1 week we'll compare DPS, and then the last week we can look at all four, and then see how that affects for army composition and for where we're going to go. But these are all infantry units. They're a mix, obviously, between, again, I probably should have marked that on the screen, of men and dwarves. But I mean, we know that. Yeah, into Season 2, I don't think I necessarily need to do that. I could have color-coded it. Maybe next week I will color-code it and put them for men, dwarves, and elves. But we can see on there exactly their stat lineups against each other. No surprises, we can see the wider variance of Guardians in the damage. We can see the hit points of the far weaker Sentinels, but that's to be expected because they do have avoid the first damage, and they're not they're the damage dealers, the consistent damage dealers at the high level. Hit points wise, defense wise, is that right? Is that Sentinels at defense 14? Is that what I was checking before and mentioned it? Let me just check. I think that is true. I think I looked at that and I was thinking, wow, that is painful. Sentinels. Where's my elves? Here's my elves. Harrow. There's Sentinels. Yeah, okay. Defense 14. Ouch. Ouch, 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 ouch. Yes, so something like that. You know, they desperately need to boost up their defense. Otherwise, they just get, that's why they just get mowed down in combat. But we can also see the speed, and I was a bit surprised at this. I didn't realize Dunedains were that quick. Actually, that means that they are they're a potential option to run with a cavalry unit without reducing your cavalry builds, because I think there's some cavalry units that you're going to be using at speed 127 or something. So they really don't boost, knock down your speed for using Dunedains. Potentially with Eowyn's, I mean, again, you're going to lose her boosts that buff the mounted, but you're not going to lose her buffs that boost melee. But he does become another potential option with the speed without destroying your speed increases. We can see the siege is pretty similar, apart from Sentinels being terrible, Dunedains being okay. But Herald's Guardians and Tower Guard, fairly consistent 18s and 20s for siege damage. So this is why they're quite often used with siege armies behind your lines. I think this was the same for me last season. I just overloaded on Tower Guardians and Guardians, Tower Guard and Guardians, because you could put them in with a level 40 commander stood behind, and they were still doing like 120,000 siege damage and stuff like that, 140,000. So they tend to be pretty good for that, and they're cheap to recruit because you get the full 100, and yeah. So sieging, and again, it depends on the necessity of speed. Guardians there always being the slowest, Tower Guard being the middle, Heralds actually being similar to Tower Guard with their speed. It shouldn't make too much of a difference because, like we've looked in those videos before, where you base your army right next to the tile that you're going to be sieging, and then the siege speed doesn't have a huge effect unless you're using something like Ents. But other than that, they'll still have plenty of time to hit the target and come back 7 times inside the siege time. And then the specials on the right hand side, so we can see Heralds with their counter attack. We discussed that yesterday about how terrible that is. The fact that you actually end up losing damage because the amount that you do in the counter damage is less than the debuff that you lose from your attack. Guardian have reduced damage and the bleed attack that's a bit weird. Tower Guardians have minus damage and plus damage to mounted up to 50%, so it makes the damage okay against mounted, but not particularly superstar. Dunedain have their plus 30% damage against ranged and minus 30% damage against ranged, plus the ranged priority targeting, which makes them really solid choices. And then you have the Sentinels with 26 to 27. I'm just trying to remember the Dunedains. Is that just for the first couple of turns? I can't remember. Or the whole battle. It's the whole battle. It is the whole battle. Okay. So the whole battle, plus 30% damage against range with range priority and minus 30% incoming damage from range. Makes them fairly solid. 30% of their minimum. They've got one of those quite large variance points, but there we go. 30%, so we're talking about maybe just under 5, so between 20 to... what, 29-ish? 20 to 29. Makes them sort of like comparable to Sentinels with the damage output, because they're going to be focused on range, so they're always going to target those range. So you get, I think they're better than Sentinels as the damage dealers, simply because generally most of the damage that you're going to, receive is going to be from their DPS options. So being able to kill their DPS faster is going to save you in the long term, because there's not a whole load of massive melee DPS damage unit stuff that people take. But there is lots of ranged and stuff along the back row that being able to prioritize is super useful. So I think in the overall run, Dunedain's doing 20 to 29 damage, but being prioritizing their range is probably better than Sentinels doing 26 to 27, but they're hitting whatever they hit. Yeah. And avoid the first damage, so they kind of have that one extra chance of doing. Again, it depends which units you're going to be using, which armies you're going to be using, and where you're going to go. Because Dunedain obviously is going to be benefited by stuff with men boosts. It's going to be boosted by stuff with melee boosts. So anything to do with men and melee commanders, Dunedain obviously then even become more useful. Anything that's going to be to do with elf commanders or boosting range, then you're going to be taking Sentinels for your extra damage. So take it with consideration to your commander will affect which units are going to be able to outperform, because on paper, when you take those stat comparisons into consideration, Dunedains are better. They're a better unit. On the proviso that, one, your opponent has plenty of range damage, plenty of range. They are their main damage dealers, and they don't have units that can absorb and take the damage. But Sentinels could end up being better if you're playing with Legolas or somebody who's using lots of... does he have Elvens? I can't remember. Let me quickly catch up with the comments at this stage. I just saw Fred score the winning goal. I know, and I've been criticising Fred for the whole season about how terrible he is, and he's having a couple of good games, so maybe I should lighten up on him, but we'll see. I just think he's a really bad midfielder. How do you beat Curran like he is sitting on a tile forever? I don't know the evil commanders off the top of my head, I have to say, and because last season we ended up fighting a lot with Gondor and Erebor, and I was kind of positioned on those sites. So I fought against Lurtz, I fought against Sauron, I fought against Witch King. Kieran, I'm not entirely sure I have, so I can't really help you a whole load. Tell me, what does he do? What's his abilities? Because I can't check. At some stage, maybe I'll have to get somebody to send me the commander information for all the evil ones, and maybe I can have a look, and maybe I'll even do a blind commander review of just entirely looking from the mathematical side of it and looking from their abilities. What are my thoughts about the commander? I mean, I do that sometimes with the good commanders. Some of the good commanders I don't have them unlocked. I don't have them at 5. So I'm just reading through the tables and looking at what the maths and the synergy is telling me. So it could be interesting too with the bad guys. My only issue there is I don't know the units as well. So I would need to do some research. But yeah, maybe I should do that. I never was on a good note with heralds. Are they that bad? Or I just don't know what to do with them. I think heralds are terrible. I think they are a horrific unit. Their damage is not particularly... doesn't stand out to me. I mean, if you get coalition with a commander like Arwen or the two new guys, the two new chaps, they have coalition to maximize the damage of the Herald. Maybe you could argue that there is something in using them. In that, you would then be comparing Heralds to Sentinels. Yeah? You'd kind of be saying, well, the Heralds and the Sentinels... I've just realized Sentinels are melee, and I've been saying they've been ranged, and they're not. My bad. That was... Wait. I'm trying to remember now. My memory's gone. They are ranged. Why have I put them on there? Sorry, my brain is gone. I do apologize. But they are I don't know why I've added those on. Yeah, I'm not sure why I added Sentinels on. Well, whatever. They've crept on to my melee list for whatever reason. But yeah, sorry, I'm glad I caught that. Yes, they are ranged and they're on my melee sheet, so I'm not entirely sure what I've done there. But I do think Heralds are not too bad with a coalition commander because you can guarantee that they're on 26 damage. Then we're talking, okay? Because 26 damage consistently with better hit points. Sorry, with the same hit points of Dunedain, but with a significant amount of defense increase going from 44 to 71. So we're already creeping into sort of like the next top tier of 80, like that maximum level you want to be in, rather than Dunedain's 44. So way more durable. Okay, they're half the speed. They've got a little bit better siege. But if we can guarantee that damage at 26, they become okay. But their special is still terrible. Their special still reduces your damage output because I think you do. Does it depend? Is that where I'm going wrong here? Sorry, wrong one. I don't know why. I always click the wrong ones of those two. Is it based on something? No, it is always. Sorry, I didn't know if it was based on a stat value, but it's not. It's just always the counterattack will do less damage than the amount that you will take as a damage attack reduction for your normal attack. So always. Oh no, that's because it's level 1. My bad. So they're not too bad when they get leveled up, in that they go up 1.5%. Let me work that out. 1.5% per level. So at max level, it's another 15, so 30. So they'll do a counterattack of 30% damage and take a 20% normal attack reduction. So okay, they end up doing something that's 10% more damage on a counterattack. I still don't like it. Because when hit by an enemy's normal attack within range, so you have to be guaranteed that that their stuff is attacking you. So again, if we've talked about things with elven friends or dwarf friends, where you're guaranteed that your damage is pretty much going to go on your guardians or your dwarf tanks, then they're not going to be getting hit. So they're poor in that scenario. They're also poor if, again, like I said, the enemy ends up not attacking them. If the enemy only has like 1 or 2 units and you end up focusing on the other units and these end up not getting attacked, then their special ability is wasted. But I still don't think 30% doing a counterattack and then losing 20%, you're doing a 10% bonus, and that's their only one bonus ability. Their only one ability is that once you've got it maxed at levels and you spent all of that gold, you do a 10% counterattack damage that may or may not trigger. Compared to, say, Swiftness, where they pretty much guaranteed to avoid the first attack. You know, it's probably always going to come into combat. Or first 2 turns doing bonus 40% damage. So 2 turns of 40%. Early on, which is more useful because you can kill through stuff without having to take it, rather than a consistent lower level of damage increase over the turns. Or what was the other thing that I was maybe comparing that has 2 decent abilities? The Dunedains, of course. Dunedains plus 30% damage against enemy ranged targets, plus priority ranged elvens, plus minus 30%. They kind of get 3 bonuses compared to the Herald's 1. So I'm not a huge fan of Heralds. Mr. Jamie, your stream might be even shorter than expected. Points at Faction Discord. Don't tell or show chat. Point at faction Discord. Give me a second. So I'm just catching up. Okay. Okay, let's see. Well, I mean, the stream will go on, whatever. Sorry, I was just reading stuff for the silence. But I'm just trying to go through those units. So we can kind of see the bonuses for different things and how things are useful for different scenarios. But yeah, I do think heralds needed like a second special just to either give them either a little bit more of a punch or be able to take a little bit more damage, one or the other. I feel like they missed that with the counter in that theoretically they might do more damage, but it's spread out over every turn as long as they can get those counter attacks in. They do an extra 10% damage. Yeah, I'm not sure. Milan Heralds are bad in 99% chance to be available. Gilgard on a full elf army, but they're horrible tanks. They agree. Melee tanks, they need to soak up damage, not deliver it. You don't need your fridge to make toast. True. Yeah. I like I said again, Dunedains aren't probably the one exception for me where you know that they're kind of almost acting like a DPS unit because of that plus 30% bonus damage, reduction of damage, and ranged priority. They can kind of work in quite well in that they're really focused and heavy into those into what they do, so it's not too bad. But there we go. That's my quick look and consideration of those. I do believe that your special units for your factions also count here, because if you're dwarves, then obviously you've got a better tank than guardians, so you know that naturally fills in there. I don't know how sentinels caught into this table, but again, the same will happen in that when we're talking about sentinels, if you've got march wardens, then they are a much better form of sentinels. And what else have we got? I suppose Gondor and Rohan, they're both cavalry options, so they're going to come into the other window. But yeah, your faction will affect this as well, because you can replace them with a better unit that's available, which is pretty superstar bonus mode for things like Erebor, who have a really good unit that's really good tanking, a better version of Guardian when everybody else is pretty much forced to use Guardian, or with Elves, who have a much better version of Sentinels where everybody else has to use Sentinels. But there we go. Okay, let's drop this infantry screen and have a look at the window. What did I want to have a look at? Oh, Gandhi. Do I finished gathering, so I can maybe mock. Oh, I never check. I never check and read that little number at the bottom about the gathering time, and I always then choose to go and mock battle without checking it. There we go. That's how it works. I can have a quick peek around. I think maybe now that she's onto all tier 3s and they're all useful, she may be able to do okay against level 3 mobs, which we can check and see. Let's catch up with theirs. I guess it's not secret now. We are at war with LotR now. They're invaded with the 120 Ms. Yeah, I mean that's a dangerous situation to be to form an alliance with a group and then betray them sort of on the day 10. I think a lot of people had been hearing that that would be the case and that they'd already decided, they'd already made some pact agreement with Angmar and others to do that. But everybody was like, well, we're not going to act first. Let's see if people are oath breakers, whether they break their oaths first. So there we go. But it's dangerous. It's dangerous to live that type of game because so early into a season, sort of like not just the bad reputation, but I mean, being attacked by factions in general and just going to war, you know, okay, you'd expect that in a game. You kind of know where you stand. That's going to be a factor into the game. But breaking your word and going against an agreement and betraying people while they're already at one war, that is dangerous games to play because your reputation, not just your reputation is shot, but it's also unlikely that that faction, like for now on, that nobody's going to trust. So for the whole rest of the season, you've kind of got a situation where you're going to be stuck. Why can I not find any mobs anywhere? Maybe I'll try and use the search. I kind of want like a level 30 mob just to test out on. I don't know why. You guys can let me know. Is your search feature this crazy in that, like, if I search for, there we go. It did work. But if I search for 30 and then I move, it lowers back down again. I don't quite understand why it's doing that. But we will try. We'll try at 30 there, see what happens, and we'll try Gandhi on a 25 and see how that goes. Where attack lies outside of the village. Oh, okay. I'm at the other base. Let's try Lego on there and see how he does. Wait, where am I now? I'm confused with which commanders are where. I guess all my commanders are back home. I can't remember doing that. Okay, they're all back here. Weird. Okay, let's try and find like another 25. I think a 35 is just a little bit too much for the Thorin at the moment. He does struggle a little bit. This is season 2. Season 2, 0002. So we're on to. We're about 10 days in. We started. Yeah, about 10 days on the Thursday. Because the game properly came up on the Thursday, and it was pretty much like 2 months or 8 weeks or something from the start date. Yeah, I cannot find 25s anywhere. Yeah, I've had problems with this search window. This is possibly one thing that I would like to see them upgrade, because it only has a very short search window. So I mean, what's the point in having a search window when you have to keep bloody moving your thing anyway? It needs to be extended. But we'll see. He is in my base. He won't be able to go there. Okay, if there's any mobs around here, there's a 25. I would be able to reach them. If 25, it's okay as long as I'm on whatever the system. I don't know if depending on the level or the season or the area, it like hard wires this, but like I search anything and then move and it goes to 25. It's really curious. Really bizarre feature. Nope. I guess all the mobs are gone. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now we'll be able to see... It won't be an even comparison because I've got two units going against... They're all going against different things. I kind of want to compare them all against a 25, if I can find enough 25s to send everything against one. 25s appearing here. They should maybe appear up around about here as well. Let's see. Balls. Nope. There's definitely nothing super close to my keep. Oh, there's something here. 15. 15. Yeah, so I need to be over here, I think, mainly for 20s and 25s. Give me a 25. Oh, there we go. No, that's the same one. See what I mean? Like, I've already gone out of range. The 25 was here. And by the time I go to here... Oh no, it still picks it up there. Where's the range that it stops? Here, so it stops searching from here. Like... 20, I think somebody said it's 21 tiles away. It's giving me 15s, but I would rather test it out on a 25. I feel like a 15 is not worth exactly the time. Ugh, gosh. Not giving me it. It's not going to give me it. Well, maybe I won't get to show you Thorin compared to the others. Disappointing, disappointing. I need more mobs. I can send him against a 15, but I mean, it's fairly pointless. He's going to murder everything and take a few losses. Let's try it. I was going to say let's try and find a 20, but okay, we'll fire him at 20. And we'll see what happens. I'll also flag that one. Because I think one's not against a 20. I think one's against a 25, so we'll be able to see. So here we go. Yes, she's performing a little bit better now against these 30s. Don't forget that it says 30 there, but I mean, that's still not a comparison level of the army. I think... Yeah, that's not too bad. 177 dead. My army's still not fully... everything's not upgraded at all that well, and I'm still a bit too heavy on cavaliers. I should have more cataphracts in there. But it's okay. It's not too bad. Numbers kind of looking okay. My healing could be a bit better, I think. I don't think I've got all of my heal points leveled up yet. But that was okay. Do I have her command points leveled up? I've got one left to go. I've got the big heal boost. And then I need to start working on the damage reduction. So they're my next two. I'll just finish this one and then go back down to here when I can. She's not too far away from leveling up. What do you think about rune chariots? Again, like I said about evil units. Sorry, man, I got distracted with that. It's about 8 minutes ago. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure about rune chariots. Everybody said that they're terrible and not to use them. I've never even seen them on the battlefield because last season we were on server 4 and we were Lothlorien. We never even got near rune and we never got to fight them. So I never really saw them. They were AI only, and the AI didn't activate at all. They were just dead in the water, and Mordor and Erebor just killed them. So. So she is back. So I can test her against a 20 as well, but I mean it's going to be, that was her against a 30, so you'd imagine against a 20 she's going to just steamroller it. Oh, if she can reach over there. She might not be able to reach there, thinking about it. I kind of split my army into two, my mobbing armies into two on the right hand side and on the left hand side, and they cover like a larger area, so my slightly higher ones I think I stationed over here, and she might not be able to reach that 20 that I marked before. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Oh, I'm waiting for it to fill up. So at this stage, what I'm going to do is the same as what I have been doing with the open up for you guys to come in and have a chat. Probably will be only for about half an hour or an hour. I can't run super late today with the 6 or 7 hour streams from the last couple of days, trying to condense things in. So I will open up to the Discord server when I can find it. Into the live stream channel, and this is our Discord server for the Mag one, for the Middle Age Gaming Discord server. Be careful clicking this link. I made this invite yesterday. It does lead you straight into the voice channel. So as I said yesterday, make sure you're not having any fights. Or you are doing anything, watching anything suspicious when you join the channel. But feel free to come in and let me know how your server is doing, how your season is doing, anything that we've talked about so far today, your thoughts on the unit comparisons. I can put the sheet back up again. Or if you want to live stream anything from yours, maybe if you're an evil commander, you want to ask any questions, or you want to live stream some stuff, you can live stream it onto the Discord, and I can even restream the Discord screen onto here. And that's why I have multiple yes, popping in and leaving multiple times yesterday. That is why that was happening, because silly me had made the invite directly to. For next week's invite, I will I'll give us one that doesn't lead straight into the voice chat for sure. My buildings are still chugging away. I'm reluctant really to push forward any of these builds because I think it's pretty late for me, you see, and I have work early on Monday, so there's certain days where I can't, where I have to be careful. And the last couple of weeks I've been live streaming on Sunday night into maybe 6 or 7 a.m. and then when I try and wake up for work the next day for some of my lessons, I'm so tired. So I'm trying to be a little bit better, not just for my quality of work, but also for my general health, not to do crazy things like this again. So yeah, Friday and Sundays I have early work the next day. But I'm still going to be on probably for about another half an hour, just to answer any questions anybody has, any issues, worries that people have, concerns, or anything in general. But because I don't, there's not a whole load, like I say, it always hits this time period. Today actually I have a load of resources, so I could push to do something, but I can't remember what it is. My military academy needs to go up. That's really way too low. I need those extra command points into things. What am I doing? I should be doing Rohirrim quarters there. And I needed the resources for that when I logged on. I easily have the resources for that now. So where are my builders? 1 hour and 4.5 hours. Well, I suppose the militia speed up. I can do that one. I can do that one. I've unlocked spearmen, not too far away from guards. I'm going to push for Rohirrim quarters because it's on my what's the word? Log thing, the battle log to get extra tiles, which I still can't use anyway. And now being at war with everybody is going to be even worse for tiles. I think everybody's going to struggle with everything. But we will see. Rohirrim quarters. Okay, stone. I need 53,000 stone. 53,000 stone, and I can trade wood for that, so that's not too bad. 53,000 wood for stone. Oh, that's nice. 50. I can take a little bit more. That's fine. I don't think 9 gets you anything. That's the worry. A little bit of extra gold for per levy, a little bit of extra grain production, but you need it. You need it 10, I think, for marshals. Yeah, 10. So I mean, I'm still another whole level away. The people that have got this up already, man, they've been pushing this hard. I suppose you can, as long as you've got the resources, you can speed up the buildings because you can pay for the extra speed ups. But with gems, it's the resources that kills you. Let's have a look. I'm always careful about here. Because people get pretty irate in here. I think politics departments are going full scale, the propaganda department's going full well. I think LotR are trying to explain why they've decided to go to war against a faction already at war with somebody else who they're supposed to be allied with. Kind of funny. See how well their propaganda department do at spinning it. Always makes me chuckle. I mean, at the end of the day, it's an online game. It is what it is. If the factions align against you, then there's not really a whole load you can do. You just wait. Because at the end of the day, we're only on day 10. Day 10, and there's going to be, say, 8 weeks-ish. Maybe more, because maybe factions will struggle to dominate as much. So maybe about 10 weeks is probably more realistic. So what, 70 days in total? So there's still probably like 60 days left. So you've got to be careful that actions have consequences. Is Thorin any good? Everybody keeps that. We've got a regular in, and he's not a big massive fan of Thorin up until level respect 5. I don't really know why. I like that his tier 1s, respect 1s are okay. They go together pretty well. I think he's got like the defensive side and an attack side that work okay. So you've got a decent damage, 390% damage once. And a damage received minus 5%. Now, when you think about that, that's a pretty decent damage because it's a round 1 ability, so it's going to affect 5 times per combat. So not only is it going to do a 390% damage attack, but it's also going to do a 5% stackable damage reduction every 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 in those rounds. So a round 1 ability doing 390% damage. I don't know if I've got these guys maxed up. Elven Prince, Dual. Okay, I don't have any of his attacks maxed up to see, but I'd have to check and see his, like, Heartseeker is around 1 ability. To see what that goes up to. Oh, I'll be able to check them in the commander screens actually for comparison. Let's go here. Because it bases everything on the first level, doesn't it, when you go into the character sheet? So I can sort of like check. I can check what his Oaken Shield does at first level. So he does a 26% damage. But I mean, that scales up pretty fast then. 26 up, so there's a really decent damage increase for every level that goes up. So it seems to the rate of increase goes crazy. I suppose no, it's because you get 15 of them. Okay, so 26%. But you also get that damage received buff that kicks in, and then this is his sort of like other attack. So deliberate strike. So it's around 369 and does 42 to 100%. But that increases by 100 every time. So max level is 800% potential. So he has some really good solid attacks. Deals physical damage, and then you've got a 50% chance of being stunned again in rounds 3, 6, and 9. So he's got 2 attacks in 3, 6, 9, and he's got attack in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So I quite like them. And then on this side, you've also got another against one enemy deals more physical damage, and also a heal recover for 2 units at max level, so it's kind of nice. And then he has a very early on to the combat boosts. So frighten the first 4 rounds. It ends up being 50% chance at max of being stunned. So it's against 2 enemy targets. So on average, that's 1 that's going to be stunned. So first 4 rounds, you're stunning 1 unit every turn, which is pretty decent. And inspiration, first 3 rounds, damage dealt increased bonus by focus. I don't really like that being focus, I have to say. That's the one thing that I think is a bit poop. He's a combat-ish character. Nothing else in his tree goes for focus. So why they spin and give you a curveball of a focus stat increase is a bit rubbish. Why am I going to increase my focus to increase my damage when I can increase my might, which increases my damage anyway, sort of thing. But yeah, there we go. I think then he gets, it's still nice because it's early on. So I was saying yesterday I was tempted to do a massive damage dealing army early on in combat. So doing things like, what am I thinking? Cavaliers, sharpshooters, and then like ball riders. I think was my discussion yesterday. Like reduce their damage and then reduce their defense and do as much damage as you can early on in the first 3 turns is a potential. But when you get to 3, I think he's got some nice abilities in here with bonus might, bonus hit points, and then here physical damage ignores target defense. So at max level, you're going to be ignoring 50% of their defense, which is pretty killer. You're going to eat through things way easier. And then I don't like this. This is one I don't like detect weakness, and I'm not a huge fan of inspiration. But detect weakness, increased chance of gaining damage, but it's by 25%. But what's that going to be at maximum? 70. It's going to be like 100% chance of gaining damage plus 100%, but only 1 in every 4 turns. So, I'm also very curious with these, because where you have commander 25% chance of gaining damage, I suppose that's for every single ability that he uses. So he's got his normal attack, and then he's got like Oaken Shield attacks. So it's 5 Oaken Shields. He's got 3 deliberate strikes per combat. He's got 3 topples. So 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then he's got 3 more revivalists. So he's got 13 attacks. And you're going to have 25% on your 13 attacks. So what's that? 2.5, 3.25. 3.25 of your attacks, if you manage to go the full 10 turns, are going to get plus 100% damage. It's not terrible. That's not terrible. His tier 5s, everybody keeps saying his tier 5s are really good. I think his tier 5s are really good for a solid tanky, maybe dwarven build. But yeah, I think you already got like Dane for kind of doing that way to go. I suppose Dane's like more tanky units, and he does the damage. Whereas I suppose with if you wanted to go with this dwarf build, it's more damage received for your units plus dwarves attack, then counter attack dealing 20% damage or whatever, 21% damage at max, and army damage from melee units minus 14% at max. But I feel like this is a bit on its own. I don't, you could mix it up with Revivalist for the early on combats and a heal, but I don't get what this table is particularly really merging with, because Oaken Shield is a damage based tree, and King Under the Mountain is for damage based trees. Yeah, for your commander dealing extra damage. So these Oaken Shield goes really well with King Under the Mountain. Those two synergize pretty well. Revivalist it doesn't necessarily synergize with Oaken Shield, but it works well with it. So those two work well together in that you can deal extra damage and you can heal and heal back up again. But this Respect 5 tree, I don't see how it combines particularly well with everything else. It just increases the durability of your units. Damage reduction from melee units and damage received and extra attack. But there's not much else here that goes with unit increases, apart from maybe like inspiration increasing damaging early on, but only for the first 3 turns. So I don't know. People say the Respect 5 because of this. I actually think his Respect 5 tree is pretty upsetting. I think his Respect 3 tree is better for the build options to go with him, for sure. What purple chest to use on Gandalf? Gandalf's been unloved for me. Last season I didn't particularly use him. This season I have also been a bit lazy, and like I said, I only switched on my Gandalf's really, really weak, and I just don't have very much focus stuff to go with him. So when you look at my build for him, my gear on him, I just have real rubbish, but it's just because I don't have anything else to give him. So like my weapon, I don't have anything particularly great for him. So I've given him an Elven Dirk just for the Pierce ability, because after he attacks against an enemy target, it deals more damage. So it deals 40% physical damage. So it's another attack, and you definitely need your weapon attack that does another attack for Gandalf if possible, because that will trigger his the Grey ability more. After the commander deals damage, one allied unit, 50% chance of recovering 100% hit points. So if you've got your gear that deals damage from your commander, then yeah, it'll kick in more. I've got a missile coat in him just for a bit of extra focus and armor defense, but I don't really know. I just don't have anything really good. First one round, 3 allied units, 5% chance of avoiding damage. I could put golden skin on him, I suppose. It's probably slightly better than the mithril coat, maybe. Focus and defense, might and focus. Maybe. And then, like I said, look at these are the only purples I've got left. I just have not received anything particularly really good from him. So yeah, I've seen other good builds with him. I don't have any available. I've got some saved on my phone of good builds and good armor pieces, but I tend only really to focus on it when I actually get the item gear myself that I can use for it. And so I don't really know what people use. I think usually it's semi-decent gold. I'm not sure what the good purple items are. Maybe... No, I'm not sure. It's the same with the headpiece. Headpiece I just don't have very much good. I probably should switch him over to a Trapper's Hood. I do have some Trapper's Hoods, but Goat Riders, I'm not going to be using Goat Riders, or particularly using him against large targets. I probably should switch him to maybe Trapper's Hood. What if I got him at the moment? Full Helm. Yeah, I should probably switch him to Trapper's Hood and upgrade it. Oh, I think I was waiting. I was waiting to get one piece of purple headgear that I would upgrade the Trapper's Hood to 1, and then I would fortify it, and then I would go this one with ranged vigor, and I would use that. So I think I'm waiting for a purple item gear to eat up. And then again, I just I don't have a whole load of stuff from here. But this is where I've gone with a round heal with extra focus and speed for my elves. I think I did have the pipe on for him for a while, but it was my ability was resources gathered, so I ended up putting it on my guy who's gathering resources instead, and switched over. to a harp with a much better ability. I quite like this. I really like sustain. I think it's a really good ability. Yeah, every 2 rounds, all allies, you know, recover. Okay, your heal is reduced compared to maybe something like every 2 rounds, 1 allied unit recovers like a good chunk. But for the Gandalf, I tend to find the healing spread out and everything healing up is good. What can you say about Galadriel on 1 to 3 rep? I show P on 5, but now I have 2 rep Galad. You are lucky. You are lucky. That's the commander that I only dream of getting. I'm slowly getting there. Like I said again, if it had been a Galadriel, Legolas, Arwen box would have been perfect. That's what I would have loved. But no. And I can't. I've seen quite a few people flexing. We've got some mega whales on ours that have some like not respect 10s, 13s, Galadriels with all purple gear, and they're just mincing through ridiculous amounts of armies. It is crazy. Yeah. So I've not really looked particularly on her to get the broken build. I know that when you get the extra focus, I know you've got to focus on the madness over here, and they're just an obscene amount. I think I've been seeing like near enough. Is it close to around like 700 focus on like a level 42 Galadriel? It's insane. It's insane. Yeah, with all these bonus focuses. I wish I could have a bonus defense based on focus, bonus focus, recover hit points. God, it's such a... I mean, even when I get her though, to be honest, I'm going to be stuck in table 1 for a while. Maybe respect 3. I could probably swing some rounds if I got her. It depends. If I'm super lucky and I manage to get the unlock token, then I'd be alright, because I've already got her on like 3,000 favors, so it shouldn't be too bad to push to R3. But yeah, I can't help you too much, particularly with the build. I've seen it around, and but yeah, usually they're respect 5 because they're the whales that have gone on Discord or what have you and found the best builds, and they're all using the exact same things. Focus damage twice. Focus damage plus 3%. And your normal attacks do focus. Focus damage and inflict madness. Everybody heals in round 8. Recovery received. Debuff removal for fighting other people with madness. Cancel. Reduction for focus, burn, and poison damage by 50% at max. And the first 3 units of damage received, minus 1.2% effect modified by focus stats. So I'm guessing really high alert and champion light, you're only going to be using against evil guys, because there's not a lot of focus, burn, and poison damage in the game. Thank you. Sorry guys, my pizza is here. Very nice. Handmade pizza. Handmade pizza at that. Handmade pizza. Tikosh, a big guide on Gandalf the Grey. Do I want to go in here? Let's have a look. How many pages is this guide? Sorry, I got receipt sent the guide on Gandalf the Grey. Skill tree. Okay, so their gear. As for this skill tree, equip gear that improves focus. That makes sense. The recommended gear is Lang. Okay, that makes sense. And I had a Lang, and I think I ate it into something else. I don't think it had a very good ability. Maybe it did actually. I think I had the Lang that did like 100% damage on turns like 5 and 10. So I probably shouldn't have gotten rid of that. Never mind. That's my mistake. Elven Cloak it recommends for armor. Yeah, that makes sense. Huge amounts of bonus focus. These are all like gold items, by the way, guys. So it recommends Lang, Elven Cloak, recommends Swan Helm, crazy high focus, and the Fine Smoking Pipe focus, and army hit points for hobbits. Some alternates, hand short sword, chest scale mail. Chest scale mail, okay, they recommend chest scale mail. I went chest scale mail. Head catcher's hood. Accessory worn out smoking pipe. I have the worn out smoking pipe. I just don't have a really good ability on it. Okay, interesting. The Lang that I had, what was it? It does 100%. I can't remember if it was physical or focus damage. On every we had like a 5-turn cooldown. It was a really good ability, but maybe it was focus and I can't remember why, but I wanted something else instead, and I ate it, and probably shouldn't have. I think I ate it into my what's it called? The Riddle mark. Reach the Riddle mark. I think I ate it into Riddle mark to upgrade that, or into the Axe of Khazad-dûm. Either way, I kind of regret it now. Even worse if I ate it into Hammer of Moray, because I'm not even using it. But yeah, that was a shame. Let me just catch up on here. Okay, sorry, I'm just catching up on some messages. Somebody sent me something about Gandalf. Okay. Yes. Right. So with the comparison with these mobs, by the way, we looked at before. We had Eowyn, she hit that 30, and then Thorin only on a 20. I mean, like I said, it's very hard to compare these. 25 probably would have been a better comparison point for each of them. Gandhi losing not a whole load, and Legolas. So you can see those comparison points on a 25. I mean, it's pretty significant with the 11 points difference on the commander. But I really wish that I'd focused on Legolas and on Gandalf this season. They would have been two good ones. Grimmer and Grimmer. Yeah, I think maybe if he'd been plus 11 levels higher, I think their losses probably would have been fairly similar. You know, probably even less. The Lego maybe would have lost less than Gandhi. Thorin's is not worth comparing because it was only a 20, and Eowyn there against the 30. Yeah, did I have? No, that was a 20. Oh, there. So Eowyn against the 25. I did have her against 25. Was hardly losing anything earlier on today. For some bizarre reason, I don't have a 25 with Thorin to compare, which is a bit of a pain. I can't really find many 25s to show you exactly how well he's doing in comparison. He tends to lose a little bit more than the others, but I've only just got his ability up where he heals twice anyway. But we'll see. Idle Q. Some more cataphracts, I guess. Yes, definitely. Oh, I overbought there. I overbought too many stuff. Right. Hey, Skyzilla. Unfortunately, I was going to say I didn't want to have a super early one. I wanted to kind of be finishing by 2 a.m. my time because I was just saying before I have work early on. What's my earlier days? My early days, sort of Monday, and because I teach and normally my teaching is in the afternoons and evenings. The only days that I really work a bit earlier are Mondays and Fridays. Friday. So my Thursday night and my Sunday night, I need to not be overexerting on these streams. So I'm probably going to be finishing the stream sort of like in the next 5 minutes or so. So I do apologize for that. It was my fault because I was an hour late starting the stream as well today because of football. Sweep 100 out of 100 mobs. This is also the reason, especially in the season 2, that you're going to want to be keeping sweeping mobs, because there are rewards for it. You keep getting mathams and tokens for it, and it's much easier to kind of like get through this sweeping early on when it gives you experience and food that are useful for your building and development, whereas later on it becomes more of a burden because you've already gained sort of, you don't really get any bonus particularly for bothering with sweeping, and you probably want to be focusing your armies and your troops and stuff on different places. You can see the rest of my ambition campaigns here are all about control points and control point durabilities and defeating commanders and hiring neutral units. So maybe I will have to hire some Ents just to get these extra bonuses here. Common purpose is all about repositioning armies to fellowship or warband fortresses. That's a peculiar and a bit of a weird one. Whatever. Expansion, seizing tiles from other factions is the only things that I have left. Ring ability, get your ring energy reaches up to 600, which should be pretty easy because I'm already at 281 10 days into the season. Structure development, again, it's just get all your buildings up. Should be pretty easy. And unrelenting heart, just reach your commanders reaching 2030s, exchanging commander respect items with Matham vouchers. Okay. Weird one. Exchange equipment with equipment fragments. Exchange equipment fragments. Strengthen 2 out of 4 pieces of equipment to 3 stars. Wow. They give you 20 fragments. 20 fragments for increasing 4 pieces to 3 stars. Are you kidding me? You kidding me? Seriously? And then 250. So I'm guessing you don't need to get all of those to get the 250 reward. But we'll see. What's my notice? Upcoming warnings. I also, people were criticizing this, saying, why are we having just the same events? The same events of doing tavern tips, of conscripting units, and of using ring abilities. Wait, what's that? During the event, meet certain conditions when using ring abilities to get rewards. Ring abilities assist you in gathering resources. Oh, I don't think I've seen this one before. Using ring abilities to get rewards. So what's that like? Doing mock battles and using the mock battle thing? I'll have to see about that. What happens in 10 hours? I'll give people an update on what that mysterious might event is. It looks different. I don't remember it unless anybody else remembers it from the last season. I definitely don't remember it. I'm going to keep him mock battling even though his... You can see my ring tree, it's got a little bit messy now. This always happens when I get to this stage. I've got the priorities and the things that I want, and now I kind of like, I'm just swinging between these different things, sweeping and mock battling and stuff like that. Get that up another one. In season 1 there was one event for upgrading equipment. Wonder if we get it back. I hope so. I think that wasn't the world's worst one. But that one in that reward for there is just terrible. Those 3 events are the ones we always had. Mysterious Might is just rewards for using X ability points. I really don't remember that one. Maybe like I just naturally, I didn't really ever check these rewards much until it like gave me a red dot, and then it was usually just to click them and accept them. So I never really checked things. I just did them naturally, because I think all of these stuff, if you're active enough, you do them anyway. Oh, I can still get some more gold in here. And then this is daft. You know, I've only attacked 1 dragon and did like what was it? Oh no, I attacked 2 dragons. I think I did 2 dragons and did maybe 100,000 damage split between the 2 or something. And I still had enough medals to buy everything in this table. But do make sure, I know some people always forget about this. Yeah, if you do the dragon event, you do kill it, you do attack or do some damage and get the reward. It's not just the chest you get. You can also go into here and treat yourself to. You can treat yourself to 1 Matham and some gems and a handful of coins, and you can do that pretty much with like 1 or 2 dragon hits. You don't need to do anything else. Item hosting? Not sure. When a skill heals X% of a unit, it heals a percentage of what by exactly? Yeah, I don't know. That is a good question. And I thought that I used to have an answer, and I knew the answer, and I think that changed because I used to think it was percentage based. Is the dude who no one's trying Adam? It's Adam, Korean, Antoine, and myself from Middle Age Gaming. Adam is usually the one who is streaming 2 or 3 times a week, and Korean usually streams Hearthstone, and Antoine sometimes streams something in French. I tend not to stream that much, but I just usually tend to make videos for this Lord of the Rings Rise to War and other mobile phone games. But with it being the new season 2 just starting, I'm just streaming the gameplay. Oh, you used to work. Oh, so I'm guessing you also used to work at Cogen, which is where I work as well. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure about the heal, Alex Alva, about the heal percentage. I used to think it was a percentage based on a unit's, on a command point of a unit, but it's not, because I've seen that more recently when I've seen it when stuff's healed a certain percentage value, and the amount that it's healed across 2 different units has been the same, even though those units have different hit point values. So it didn't quite make sense. So there's something off there with that figure. Seems to be a little bit weird with the heal values on those. It's bizarre. Everybody keeps telling me different figures, but the numbers inside the game are weird. Like I said, I did a test early on with Eowyn's, and it was supposed to heal whatever it was, 35%, and it healed like 7,200 on like a tier 1 cavalry unit and a tier 2 cavalry unit, and their hit points with values were different. So it just seems to be a certain value of something that I'm not entirely sure. But if you figure it out, if you manage to find anybody who's actually got a definite answer, I'm not entirely sure. Top reward for 60 points used, which is easy. Cool. I'm doing the dragon event. I've zeroed 2 of them with just Dwalin and dwarves. Are you on season 1? I think at the end of season 1 I was finding it easy to smash my way through them as well. We weren't having too much of a problem. But this season 2 just starting, it's a bit early on. I'm struggling. I think I whacked into one and took a fair few losses on it. Nice. Is Josephine? Yeah, Josephine's still there, and Barry's still there. And Benita and Joyce, Jerry, Jeffrey. I'm not sure which ones you know. And yes, I'm in season 1. Yeah, I think it wasn't too bad at the end of season 1. Took a while, but I may fix my Halder build. Yeah, as I said, I switched mine halfway through last season. But that was more necessity in that I lost my beast units because the server was against us. Pretty much seems to be what's going to happen this season as well. Tiles are harder to take in season 2. It's not necessarily the commanders are harder on the tiles. I'm going to try and find a 200. Okay, so here we can see. Oh, you can't see until I attack it, of course. Yeah, I thought I could check. But the gear levels on them, the command points that they've got, they tend to do more damage, and they're a little bit tougher. I did notice that a lot of people were saying it's more essential if you want to take one early to work with somebody else in your fellowship to take the tile. It kind of really is important. they're tougher. I was wrecking through my armies early on, but compared to what I was using last season, this season I was using a lot more. Yeah. Tell Barry and Jim, and Jimmy as well, and Mason. That Mason says hell. That's hello. Blah, 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 blah. Tell Barry and Jim that Mason says hell. Yeah, no worries. I will do. Like I said, guys, that's going to be it for me today. I have work early tomorrow, and I also have this lovely pizza here that I want to work through, and that's going to comatose me and put me to wanting to rest. And I need to sort some stuff out in game before I go to bed now that the whole world has declared war on us. But thanks again for watching in. Apologies, it's a shorter stream, but I wanted to show up, and we've still done it for like 3 hours, but just not 6 hours. I will see you next week. I'm thinking, let me just check now what the weekday is. Oh my gosh, why can't I find my calendar? Here we go. Because next week, is it next week? 11. Okay, I'm out on the Saturday. So next week's stream will only be on the Sunday, and I'll be possibly nursing a bit of a hangover because Saturday night is my work's Christmas outing to Black Dog, so we'll be getting a bit drunk and maybe a bit leery. So Saturday I won't be in any state to stream because I'll probably I'll be pretty drunk. Sunday, I will be recovered, just look a bit jaded and faded and not for the best of wear. But next week, we will be looking at a whole load of different issues. We will be looking at cavalry, probably, or range DPS with the figures, and we'll compare them to this week's infantry figures, and we'll start to kind of get an idea of synergy about which units work together for what type of builds, and we'll discuss general things that maybe we've talked about this weekend as well, such as general politics. We can get more feedback on you guys who are starting season 2s on what you're having issues with in your season 2 startup, things like the red book missing, probably the same criticisms, and which units are really doing well and which commanders are doing really well. So I'll see you next week for the stream. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good night.